In this lesson, we're going to go over unit conversions. Specifically, we'll understand what conversion factors are. We'll use conversion factors to convert given units to desired units, and we'll apply unit conversions to determine the better deal. So why do we have unit conversions? Aside from the fact that the US uses a different system than any other country, there's also some practical aspects. For instance, if you measure something that's 12 feet and 6 inches, you can't necessarily add those together. If you added 12 and 6, you'd get 18, but what are the units? They need to be the same unit in order for us to combine them. When you're talking about scaling quantities, so if you're making things bigger or smaller, and then there's the practical aspect of determining price per unit, which we'll get into later. A conversion factor is a number that changes one set of units into another set. So some common ones are 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, or the same would be 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. There's different types of categories. I guess conversion factors is on there twice. There's categories for weight, such as kilograms, pounds. There's categories for length, such as feet, inches, meters, kilometers, miles, inches, etc. And there's measurements for volume and capacity, such as gallons, liters, quarts, and so on. So length conversion factors. So this chart I have on here, take a picture, write it down. You're not going to be asked to memorize these, but you will need to know how to use them for assessments. So convert the measurement to the unit specified, 5 feet to inches. So first I'm going to show a visual representation. Let's say we have 5 feet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And based on our conversion factor, there are 12 inches per foot. So each of these is 1 foot. And we have 12 inches per foot. Inches, inches, inches. If we add the top, 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12, we'd get 60 inches. And if we were to add the bottom, we'd have 5 feet. But this answers the question that there are 60 inches in 5 feet. Another way to do this is using what's called dimensional analysis. So with dimensional analysis, we're going to set up several fractions in a convenient way to allow us to know what we're multiplying by and what we're dividing by when converting units. So you start with what you're given. We want 5 feet, and we're going to set up these bars here. Put it over 1, and then we want to get to inches. Remember that in fractions, if you multiply and divide by the same thing, like if you multiply by 7 and divide by 7, those cancel and give you 1. So the same thing is true with units. If we have feet on top, we want to make sure we divide by feet so those cancel out. And our desired unit, which will always be at the end, is inches. So once you've set up this chart, you want to fill in what you know about the conversion factors. Okay, we know that there's 12 inches is 1 foot. So we would put the 1 with the feet and the 12 with the inches. Now this is essentially 5 over 1 times 12 over 1. It's just set up a little differently with this bar down the middle to help you separate, because as we go on in this chapter, we're going to be doing multi-step conversions. With this, the way that it's set up, this means that you take 5 times 12 divided by 1 times 1, which again lands you back at 60. Feet cancel, and our units are inches. So that tells us that we probably did it right because the proper units canceled. 3 miles to feet. You could draw a visual representation again, but I'm going to jump straight into dimensional analysis. So we're starting with 3 miles, put it over 1, and we want to get to feet. We have a conversion factor that changes miles into feet. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. So 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. Okay, we want to end on feet, and we want to cancel out miles. So that's how we build these fractions or this visual for dimensional analysis. 1 goes with miles, and 5,280 goes with feet. So to calculate, we would take 3 times 5,280 divided by 1, and 3 times 5,280 is 15,840 feet. Now with these, you can always double check that your answer makes sense. There's a lot of feet per mile, so it makes sense that we would end up with a bigger number. Metric conversion, so the United States customary system, the only country that uses it, to metric conversions. Again, this will be provided you don't need to memorize it. So convert the measurement to the units specified 26 pounds to kilograms. So 26 pounds to kilograms, we've got two. We have 1 pound is equal to 0.4536 kilograms, and we have 1 kilograms is equal to 2.205 pounds. Which one do you use? Technically, you could use both, but I'll show you a way that might make it a little bit easier for you. So we have 26 pounds to kilograms, so notice this goes pounds to kilograms, so you want to look at the conversion that does 1 pound to however many kilograms. So whatever unit you're starting with, pounds is where you want to find 1 pound equals how many kilograms, and then you know that this turns into multiplication. This is 0.4536. Okay. So I'll show you how to set it up both ways for this problem, and then for the remainder, I'll just show you one way. So we're starting with 26 pounds. We want to end with kilograms, and we want pounds to cancel out. So pounds goes in the bottom, kilograms is on top, and from our conversion, there's 1 pound per 0.4536 kilograms. So you would multiply 26 times 0.4536 to get 11.7936, and the proper units would be kilograms. That's our goal. If you chose the other conversion factor, you would start the same way, 25 pounds. Our goal is still to get to kilograms, and we want our pounds to cancel out. But this is 1 kilogram is 2.205 pounds. Let me write it down. So in this case, the 1 would go with the kilogram and the 2.205 would go with the pounds. So we would multiply 26 times 1, you can put a 1 here as well, divided by 1.2025, and you get a much longer number. So that's why I say going the one direction might make it easier, but either answer is okay. And here we get 11.79138. And notice these two numbers aren't exactly the same. That's because conversion factors aren't perfect. Okay. 25 liters to quarts. So when we plan which direction we're going, I want to know 1 liter equals how many quarts. From my conversion factor, 1 liter is 1.057 quarts. And then I'm going to set up my fractions to be able to do this. You may also see that this is a multiplication problem right away. That's totally fine. 25 liters over 1, and we want to end with quarts, and we want our liters to cancel. There's 1 liter, 0.057 quarts, so we would multiply 25 times 1.057 to get 26.425 quarts. Currency conversion. So again, this chart is provided here. You don't need to memorize it, but there's a couple of different ways to use it. So this is $1 US is $1 US, 0.61 Great British pounds, 0.734 euros, and 104.413 Japanese yen. 1 British pound is 1.64 US dollars, and so on. So when we're working with currency conversions, the same is kind of what we're going to use. So 1,000 US dollars to Great British pounds. So we want to know how much 1 US dollar is. If we go to our chart, we'd start with 1 US dollar, and it's 0.61 Great British pounds. So we start with 1,000, put it over 1. We want dollars to cancel, and our goal is to get to pounds. For 1 US dollar, there's 0.61 Great British pounds. So 1,000 times 0.61 gives us 610 Great British pounds. What this means is that our dollars don't go as far in the UK. 73 euros to yen. So if we go to euros, we want to know how much 1 euro is equal to. 1 euro, 142.271. And you can set up your dimensional analysis from here. So we have 73. 73 euro. We want our euro to cancel out, our desired units, and we multiply. So we get 10,385.783. Typically with currency, it's safe to round to the hundredths place or 2 decimal places. Application 1. So we're going to start talking about price per unit, determining the better deal. So 2 sodas cost $3. What is the cost per soda? So you might know to just divide this by 2. We have $3 and we have 2 sodas. So this would be $1.50 per soda. Let me make this a little bit neater. $1.50 per soda. So when we're doing unit conversions, in this case, we're converting the 2 sodas we have into 1 to understand price per 1 unit. So in this case, it's price per 1 soda. So if you see like at the grocery stores or 7-Eleven, they usually have like on the price tag, they usually have a sticker that'll tell you like 30 cents per ounce or something like that. It's helping you to price compare, but be careful because they're not always accurate. So we're going to use price per to determine our phone chargers. So your phone charger died again, and you search Amazon for options and you come across the following. There's an Apple Lightning cable that's 1 meter, and there's an Amazon Basics nylon braided cable that's 6 feet. And notice the price. One's $15 and one's $14.49. So how are you going to determine which one to buy? There's probably some questions that you ask yourself. Which brand is better? What is 1 meter compared to 6 feet? Those units don't talk to each other. And cost, $15 versus $14.49. It's not a big price difference, but you might be getting more or less with one than the other. Okay, so let's see. Probably the best thing to do here is determine cost per measurement or cost per length. So I'm going to convert 1 meter to 6 feet just because we're used to working with feet a little bit more than we are with meters. Okay. So on the next slide, we have, this is $15, this is $14.49, and this is 1 meter. And we want to know how many feet this is. So we go back to our length conversions, and where are you? Sorry, we'll go to the metric conversions. So 1 meter is 3.24 feet. So really, we already have the answer. 1 times 3.24. So if we want to understand cost per foot, we would take 15 and divide it by 3.24. To get 4.63 dollars per 1 foot, since we divided those two numbers. The Amazon Basics cable is $14.49, and it's 6 feet. So $14.49 divided by 6. This one is only $2.42 per foot. So if you're thinking about it in terms of cost per foot, the Amazon Basics cable is the better deal. You're paying less, but you're getting a longer cord. But again, as we talked about, there's different things to consider before purchasing. Maybe brand is important. The Amazon Basics cable has the nylon braiding. Maybe it will make it more durable and last longer and things like that. So it's always good to know how to determine the better deal, but sometimes it's not always good to buy the better deal. Or for instance, like warehouse stores like Costco and Sam's Club, you buy in bulk, which is cheaper per unit, but sometimes the monthly budget doesn't always allow for that big of a cost because the cost is going to be more, like you'll spend more money even though it's a better deal. So thank you for watching. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to me.